Greetings. My name is Carol Pickett, also known as Olamide, and I have been one of the many women that participated in the Queen Afour's Sacred Woman's journey. And one of the things that in the exercises that we've been tasked to do for the Gateway of Sacred Words uh, is to express reflections and thoughts from the process and in the experience I've had so far with my womb healing in the process of healing. So, reflections from the Gateway of Sacred Words. I have a few reflections, so I'll just share. First one that I came to realization about is my responsibility to use my voice and remove the blockages around my fear of my self-expression and being seen for who I authentically am in this world. And so I guess it's a perfect example of the blockages that I have. I have a lot of resistance to doing videos and expressing myself and talking uh, about my experiences and my thoughts outside of work. So that's something that I've come to a realization about. Also, I've come to the realization that I am the key to my own healing and freedom by understanding the role that I play in my trauma, in my damaging experiences. Has been revealing. A lot of the stories and experiences that a lot of sisters share, are traumatic. And don't get me wrong, I've had my share of traumatic, horrific, insidious experiences as well. But the only healing that I've found is understanding the role that I play. That's where my healing has come from. So that brings me to the other point. The key I have discovered is I've been in this world with a poorly defined sense of self. And that kind of gets back to ancestral trauma a little bit. If you are in an environment and family and community where your sense of self and your expression is repressed or muted, or seen as undesirable, that's traumatic. And that can cause you to make all kind of crazy decisions later on in life when you become an adult, because you don't have a sense of who you are. And so you're subjected to what other people think about you, what their agenda is for you, what their thoughts are of how they can use your skills, knowledge, abilities, and talents towards their goals, because you don't have a strongly defined sense of self. It's been repressed. And we as Black women, unconsciously, subconsciously, will do that to our daughters, to our sisters, to our friends. So that's something that I have to push through in this time. Let's see. The other one. The key. This key is one of the remedies that I have in my control. And it is also the key to healing at least one of the roots of ancestral trauma for me. So as I work to understand my sense of self and express my sense of self, it's my prayer that a lot of the trauma that has shown up in my life to tell me this will begin to heal and to go in a different direction. So that's a big one. On the Gateway of Sacred Words, one of the spiritual guardians that we work with in this gateway is Tahuti, the Egyptian god Tahuti. And I didn't know much about Tahuti or even really the Egyptian pantheon until working with Queen Afur and Sacred Woman. And what I can tell you about working with the spiritual energy of Tahuti is that you will, if you are still enough and quiet enough, you'll get the wisdom that you seek on your situation, on your trauma, on your healing. Wisdom is everything. And that's one of the main takeaways that I have with this gateway and working with Tahuti. Wisdom is found in everywhere, everything, in every experience, in every situation, in the bad, in the good, is wisdom. All is wisdom, as Iana Van Zant would say, wisdom that God would have you learn. And it's true. Everything is a part of a whole, it's a cycle, it's part of a larger story, and your story is just as important as everybody else's story in this world, and it goes into making the larger story of our experience and of this universe. So I look for wisdom in every experience, and this journey has revealed a lot with wisdom. See, one of the other revelations I've had here, every trauma that has impacted my womb, my whole mind, body, soul, and spirit is linked irrevocably to not having a defined sense or strong sense of self. Now, whether that's from ancestral waters or current life situations, that is the root. And that is the only way to find long-lasting healing to me. Meanings, more specifically, what does that mean? This is the revelation that I've had. I cannot look outside of myself for validation on who I am or if I'm going in my right way. I have the tools both on the left hand and the right hand to know and to receive the intuition on any given situation. The question is, will I listen, and will I put aside what it is I think I know and what it is I think I want to receive the wisdom on a situation, because it's always there. But you have to have a strong sense of self, otherwise it'll be muted. And that's what has happened to me, and the end result of living a life like that is chaos. One of the other reflections that I've made, because so much of my decisions have been predicated off of a reaction to something else, whether that be a knee-jerk reaction or just a reaction of me trying to direct my path in the next step in a forceful way, in a way where I'm not co-creating anything. And it's just led to a whole lot of things being in my life that I have not really fully integrated. So that's what this period of time is going to be about as well. And one of the revelations that I've had is that the spirits that we work with, the spirits that walk with us, the spirits that are around us, The spirits are secondary to your personal will. And it is your will alone that truly changes things and directs your life. The spirits serve to assist in the co-creation that you have. They cannot fundamentally direct you on things that require insight and intuition from God in your will. They can't do it. They don't have the, it's not how they were programmed. It's not how they are designed. You won't like the results if you give that responsibility over to spirits. So it's a strong reflection that I've made, and I'll probably do a second video or discussion on that, but it's important. One of the strongest reflections and revelations that I have from this experience is that I invite myself at this moment, I invite myself to not weep for the past. As I see so many other womb sisters kind of do in the process of this healing. You don't get me wrong, that's important. But when you kind of had already done a lot of your shadow work, which is what it's also called, the tears necessarily aren't there to weep for the traumas that have happened in my womb space, in my intimate space. I don't have any interest in weeping for the past, for the trauma and experiences are healing, and they are records now, and they are sealed. So instead of tears, focus on the now. And in focusing on the now, there's so much peace. There's peace in it. And in focusing on the now and finding peace in the now, reflect and plan for the future. That is where happiness and purpose waits. So with the combination of focusing and finding peace in the now and reflecting and having hope in the future, that's healing. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So it's a really super active principle of that prayer. And I believe that that prayer alone lies a lot of the healing for me in my womb space. The only other reflection that I have from sacred words is I'm going to continue to explore sacred words. The relationship we have with cursed words, I think it's evolved. That's just what I think. But anyway, those are my reflections from Sacred Woman's Sacred Words from Queen Afur. I'm thankful for this process and this experience. One of the things that this has shown me is we can be so busy thinking that the answer is outside of ourselves, and it's not. It's with you. There is no chief, Baba, priestess, spiritualist, Malam. There is no spiritual authority outside of yourself that holds your healing, but you. You hold your healing. Once you're clear on your healing, everything that you need will come to you. But don't get lost in that. The evolution of working with your left hand is only as strong as your right. And that's all I have. Ashay, thank you for listening.